Nathaniel Bandy. Striving for originality.
This top 10 intro is brought to you by VectorStar Productions. The many worlds of Super Mario 64. Some may call it an open empty place, but I think it's filled with plenty of enemies, obstacles, and overall joy. I will be looking at what each world offers and how unique it is. This can include enemies, obstacles, and gimmicks the world may or may not have. So without further ado, let's go! Some may say that Rainbow Ride is nothing more than a giant, unimaginative obstacle course. In some ways, that is true because a lot of the environments are oddly colored shapes and nothing more than that. Regardless, I do feel that this course has a lot of charm. One of the most noticeable features is the flying carpet. You can finally live out your dream and become Aladdin. Riding these carpets will eventually lead you to a couple stars. One of these are held on a huge airship. The ship is clearly a reference to Super Mario Bros. 3 and is much appreciated. You can also ride a carpet to a gigantic floating house. There is not much going on in the house besides random fire spewing, but it's still neat that it's there. There's a particular obstacle course composed of triangles and can be tricky to get through. These elements make the course feel very intense and even trapped as a character, which is ironic considering that you're in the open sky. I do also like the red coin obstacle course. It's fun going through it and collecting all the coins. While Rainbow Ride isn't all that unique, it's really nice to be in such a free and open world. While the cave of the metal cap is pretty small, there is a lot of really cool elements to toy with. When you first enter the cave, you automatically have the metal cap, and you learn how it works through the stage itself. There's not much of a stage because it's just there to get a red coin star and to unlock the metal cap. The level design is pretty solid and somewhat challenging for those that aren't good with 3D platformers. If you don't have the metal cap and you fall into the water, you'll learn that the water is rushing and you can actually fall off the edge and die! Well, okay, you don't actually die. You just get sent through the waterfall outside the castle. I do love how the cave looks too. There's diamonds sticking out of the ground, and the atmosphere feels very dark and exciting.
Number 8.
Everyone knows that most 2D Mario games have ghost houses, so it's not a surprise Big Boo's Haunt exists. This is a surprisingly really fun level for a large variety of reasons. For starters, I'm a pretty big fan of the Boo enemies. You can kill them in the game by hitting them from behind, so it's nice that the hitboxes on the Boos are huge so they can be satisfying to plow through. The whole house consists of lots of different rooms, all with something different happening. One room has a piano that will try to eat you alive, a few rooms have books and chairs that will try to attack you, and there's even a room with tombs that move up and down hiding coins underneath them. You can even go on the roof, which is really neat. There's a star you'll have to retrieve up there. The basement of the mansion is really unique because there's a huge room below with a revolving floor and ghosts coming out of pictures. There's even a little bit to do outside of the mansion. You'll find a house which leads to the basement, and some enemies scattered lightly around. This is probably my favorite Mario Ghost level ever.
Number 7.
And we're moving to another dark level. Hazy Maze Cave is quite a puzzle the first time playing through here. You immediately enter the level with a fork in the road. That should tell you you're gonna have some trouble finding the stars on your first playthrough. If you take the left path, you'll find some huge rocks careening down a hill, as well as a small underground lake. The lake is pretty cool because there's actually a path on the ground that you have to use for a star, and there's also a creature you use to get to one too. I don't know the name of this big old guy, I just call him Lapras. I'm sure he has another name, but I honestly don't feel like looking it up. If you take the path to the right, you'll find a huge room with all the red coins in it. You move through the room by stepping on this pad that moves through arrows that are also on this pad. It's really strange, but intuitive at the same time. If you leave this huge room, you'll find yourself in a decently sized maze. The catch is that the maze has a yellow gas all over it, which is poisonous if you're deep enough into it. You won't get hurt if you have the metal cap on at least, but the maze can be confusing, but fun to explore. There's 2 stars that you can get in this area, and they can be a bit hard to find at first. And did I mention this is the only world with a world inside it? You get the metal cap in Hazy Maze Cave.
Number 6.
Super Mario 64 has one of the biggest snowman that I've ever seen in a video game. Snowmans Land is a pretty interesting snow level. Right at the start, there's a stack of ice blocks that have you traverse through to get a star. There's also an ice bully here that you have to fight. He's pretty simple if you've already completed the Lethal Lava Land stars. Now we've already talked about rushing water and how you want to stay out of it. The water here is even worse. Since it's pretty cold in this world, the water is freezing, It's so freezing that Mario will take damage if he's in the water for too long. There's a lot of tricky level design in Snowman's Land as well. You need to bounce off a Spindrift's head to fly to a piece of land that has a star and also a Koopa shell. You'll need to use the Koopa shell to get inside an igloo. And boys, there's some serious magic going on in the igloo. The outside looks tiny, but inside the area is huge. The igloo is essentially an ice maze, but you can go through some of the walls with the invisible cap on. Oh, and the snowman? I should discuss him. Once you manage to climb up near his head, the snowman takes notice and will proceed to blow you away from him. If you get caught in his breath, you'll fly far away and lose your hat. There's a penguin you climb on top of to get around the breath. Thank God he's just kinda chilling there.
Number 5.
Now, I know a lava level really isn't that unique, but Lethal Lava Land does a lot of really great things. This level shows off some of the coolest enemies in the game, the bullies. They look like bob-ombs with horns, and all they want to do is push you into the lava. You can easily push them back, but it's funny watching these little guys try to bully the much taller Mario. There's a section of the course where the platforms are literally a jigsaw puzzle. The picture is of Bowser, and it tries to solve itself. When it does solve itself, coins burst out of the middle, which is pretty cool, but if you aren't careful, the sliding puzzle pieces will put you butt first into the lava. The greatest part of Lethal Lava Land is the fact that you can jump inside a volcano, and there's a whole world inside of this. You have to climb up the volcano to access a couple stars, and it's just so awesome that you even do this in the first place. This is personally my favorite level to play through, but it's not exactly the most unique.
Number 4.
And a sand/desert level, another theme that isn't all that creative. Here's the thing though, a lot of this level isn't even in sand or desert. There's a small stone pillar section where you can access a turtle shell. The shell allows you to easily travel all around the world without worrying about getting sucked up by quicksand. There's a couple areas where tornadoes will appear and can suck you into them. Thankfully, you don't die from it, but instead fly away slowly. There's this stone maze with a bunch of Tox box thrown in. Yes, these big old things are called a Tox box. Navigating this path on foot can be very difficult because it's easy to get squished, but it's easy to avoid the whole section as well if you have a Koopa shell. The biggest feature in Shifting Sands Land is the enormous pyramid. You can go inside it and there's a huge level within. You basically need to make your way to the top to collect a couple stars inside. Each level of the pyramid throws a variety of traps at you. One section has a grindle, another a spindle, as well as some Goombas and tricky jumps to make. It's pretty fun climbing up the tower, but you can fall pretty far down if you miss a jump or two. The sand at the very bottom will slowly sink Mario, so you have to continue jumping to make sure you don't die. For a desert level, there's really a lot of interesting things going on here.
Number 3.
Now again, if you played Super Mario Bros. 3, you may remember in World 4, there was some levels where everything was giant. This concept was applied to Tiny Huge Island, but expanded even further. You can switch between a giant and a tiny world just by jumping through a warp pipe. It makes no logical sense, but that's okay because it's a video game. The tiny world hosts a couple stars, but most of the time you'll be in the giant part. The Goombas are huge and you can actually get blue coins from them by ground pounding them instead of just jumping. You also have to race Koopa the Quick again, and you also have to fight off a big Wiggler boss. Tiny Huge Island is not for the faint of heart, as there's a lot of places to fall down and die, especially when you're in the tiny world. The concept is awesome though, and allowed for some really creative stars, as well as plenty of 100 coin routes to boot. There's a star where you have to fight giant piranha plants, which is a bit intimidating at first. There's also a somewhat secret area to get your red coins. It's more or less just challenging figuring out how to get up there the first time. The theme is the only thing that's not very interesting, but the main element makes up for it.
Number 2.
NB, a water world at number 2? Yeah, I'm putting Wet Dry World at number 2 because its gimmick is incredibly fantastic. The land you run across may look a bit on the bland side, but there's a few switches that you can touch that raises the water levels to the level of the switch. Now, how cool is that? You control the water height on the stage. This makes for some really creative stars where you need to switch back and forth the water levels to get to some of the stars. To get to the second part of the world, you need to take a cannon there and you go through this little water cave. Once you get to the other side, the landscape is much more interesting. There's a bunch of buildings and houses that you need to jump across to collect the red coins, and it's really fun doing so. Now, what could be better than this? Who knows? I don't know. Tick-Tock Clock, a world completely themed around clocks. How on earth did Nintendo think of this in the first place? Everywhere you go, you'll find parts of a clock being used as obstacles and places to jump to and from. There's 2 minute hands that actually move around the entire stage. you need to stay on top of them for certain stars. Now, in order for any of the clock parts to move, you need to jump into the stage at a certain time. That's right, you determine how slow or fast the clock pieces in the stage move based on when you jump into the clock. You can even completely stop all the moving parts. You actually need to do that to collect the red coins. Tick-Tock Clock is extremely challenging. One bad jump could lead you to fall really far down or to your death. I really like the challenge in this stage. It's only for those that have mastered the controls and physics of the game. Every star you grab is done in a way completely different from all the others. It feels like a new adventure for every star. That's my lousy opinion. What do you think is the most unique level in Super Mario 64? Let me know below. Like or dislike this video. Either way, I'm cool with that. Hop on the bandwagon and follow my Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Tumblr to keep up to date on upcoming videos and projects. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to never judge a book by its cover. Look, I know you're not ready to sleep tonight, so go watch the top 10 easiest Mario 64 stars, and then go watch the top 10 annoying Mario characters. And also, I have a Let's Play channel. You should go watch it. Hey look, the Double Dash Let's Play's up this week. Oh my god, that is amazing. Do it. Just freaking do it, guys. Do it.